Walmart is doing so good in Germany right now. Germany loves having this company here. It's a good thing they spent all of that money to buy up all these other companies and spread out so many stores across Germany because they are doing absolutely well. They're meshing right in with the community, doing great by the people here. Nothing can go wrong. Except none of that is true. So forget everything you just heard. Walmart completely failed in Germany. I live in Germany and I've been here for a while and I've done a couple videos on why they failed, the reasons behind the failure, and most of which is completely justified. But here's the thing. There are still many Americans that live in Germany and a lot of them do miss Walmart, whether it be what Walmart provides or the fact that it's 24 hours or whatever the case may be. There are reasons that a lot of Americans here in Germany still do miss Walmart. So what I did is I went onto social media asking Americans that live in Germany, what is it that they missed about Walmart the most? I gathered all the data that I got from them. And today we're just going to take a look at some of these things that Americans tend to miss. And we can be judgmental and decide if it's something that's worthy of being missed or not. But I'm going to share my screen with you guys. We're going to take a look at some of the things that Americans say that they miss here in Germany. So the first thing right off the bat, you knew what it would be, because what else would it be, right? It's bacon. So I love bacon. I ain't gonna front on that. And you've seen me talk about it and have it, in plenty of my videos. But bacon was one of the most mentioned things here in Germany. What most people don't know is that bacon is found here, whether it be bacon made the way they're used to or bacon made a little different. There is an option to get bacon here at particular stores. For me, my bacon it has to be, as you see on the screen here, it has to be no nitrates or nitrites. I mentioned before that I try to, if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to try and have it, as best as I can have it. You know what I mean? So this is no nitrites, no nitrates. It's uncured. So, as best as you can get the bacon, I guess, take the bacon. I ain't going to knock bacon. People who miss bacon are, they're good with me. So bacon, that's the first thing. And these are in no particular order. So let's move on here. What's the next thing? The next thing was ranch. Ranch dressing. I am not a fan of ranch dressing. But for those of you who don't know what this is it. I really don't know what goes into this stuff. I've had it and I can't say that it's disgusting. It's just it's not something I would miss if it was taken away from me. And I say if it was taken away from me because this too, just like bacon, can be found here in Germany. It's not something that you'd be hard pressed to get your hands on. So ranch, it's another thing. You can you can have it on your chicken tenders. Some people dip their pizza in it. Ranch, yeah, not my favorite, but ranch was on the list of things that Americans miss most. Moving on, Cheez-Its. There's plenty of snacks on this list. But Cheez-Its was like at the top. People miss Cheez-Its because these things have, I guess, a distinct taste. There's nothing like these here in Germany with this kind of consistency and flavor. They do have things that are similar. They have a cheesy cracker similar product, but it's not Cheez-Its. So I'm guessing that's why these were found at the top of the list too. Yeah, these are good for snacks, and some people like to make like trail mix and stuff with them, but it's a distinct taste. It's a cheesy cracker, basically. Cheez-Its made the list. Next thing was salsa, and I should say that Mexican food items in general were all over this list. When I finally compiled it together and put together everything that people said, Mexican food items were way high on the list. People really do miss Mexican food items. So I prefer to make my own salsa. I like freshly made salsa because I don't like it so soupy and wet. I like it more chunky and vegetable-y. So that's why I wouldn't go with any of these. But when I did have these, it would be something like this. So Newman's Own, not necessarily the pineapple, but this brand. I kind of liked it like that. That looks a little soupy in the jar, but it is kind of chunky if you pick it If you take this off the shelf and take it home, you'll see that it's kind of chunky. But Mexican food items to include salsa, high up on the list. Here's another Mexican food item, queso. There are a couple Mexican restaurants near where I live. So I have had a chance to test out some Mexican food here in Germany. And to be quite honest, it's not the same. It's not the same. I don't know what they're doing to make their stuff, but I think they try not to mimic. They try not to mimic the authentic stuff, and they kind of put their own twist on it. So that kind of makes it really different than what Americans that eat authentic Mexican food, which is a border country of the U.S. That's what makes them miss actual authentic Mexican food. And queso is a big deal for me. If I'm having Mexican and your queso is wrong, your Mexican is wrong, and I'm probably out of there. Another Mexican food item, chorizo. I haven't had this that often, but this is a meat item made of pork. It's very seasoned, and it's good stuff. I don't eat it, like I said, I don't eat it that often, but it's really good stuff. And it's really hard to find authentic chorizo here in this great country of Germany. Moving on to another Mexican food item, refried beans. Do they have beans here? Absolutely. Do they have refried beans here? I've seen it. But as I said before, there's just something about the authenticity of certain foods. I feel like if you get your stuff close, if you're closer, like the US is to Mexico, you get more authentic stuff. So if they were to import from Mexico, maybe they do better. I don't know that they don't, but I feel like that could probably be the answer to having good Mexican cuisine. Velveeta cheese. Now this is a processed cheese product. This isn't cheese that's made from a mold. It's a processed cheese product, but the thing is, it makes the best queso. If you know what you're doing, it makes the best queso you'll ever have. I mean, like I said, I'm a big queso guy, and you can see down here, this Rotel, this salsa here, if you put this salsa into that, oh my gosh, yeah. Big fan of queso. So if your queso is wrong, your Mexican is wrong, in my opinion. But this Velveeta cheese spread here is not real cheese. Yeah, but it's something that Americans miss, that they primarily used to get from Walmart. It's found at other places too, but I'm talking about Walmart right now. So this is one of the things that Americans miss from Walmart. Let's move on. Bagels. Bagels is one of my favorites. I eat bagels quite often. I still have access to bagels, so this isn't something I'm missing out on. But bagels, something people slather cream cheese on, or jam, or butter, commonly toasted. Germany just doesn't make this kind of item here, and it's one of the things that people really, really miss. You can see some of the combinations that people can do. This particular one has pear and what looks like feta cheese. Pear and feta cheese. I don't know what the liquid is. Probably honey. Not a direction I would go with it, but this is how versatile bagels can be. Here's one that has eggs and looks like peppers and bacon and some vegetables on it. Yeah, so bagels. Americans miss their bagels. Pancakes is on the list. I personally, when I need American style pancakes, because there is a difference, I'll talk about that in a second, I make my own pancakes. I make them completely from scratch. I get the ingredients, I measure it, and I go to town, and they're wonderful. And I don't have to worry about anything extra being thrown in it because I bought all my ingredients from a German store, and it's made by myself. So pancakes made the list, and I can completely understand pancakes. I love pancakes, man. Gotta have a good rich cakey pancake. That's how I like them. Now, the difference between pancakes that you primarily find here in Europe and American pancakes is that the pancakes over here, I'll just speak about the German pancakes. The German pancakes that I found here are closer to crepes. So they have the consistency and I guess the taste that are closer to crepes. And if you ever had a crepe, you know that it's not as thick and fluffy as an actual American style pancake. So I think that's what people miss most about pancakes. It's not necessarily the taste per se, but more the consistency and the satisfaction of having a nice spongy cakey consistency pancake. That's what comes with American style pancakes. Moving on. Okay, away from food for a second was costumes. Now, I didn't understand this, but a lot of people did say it. But people miss being able to buy costumes from Walmart. I'm looking at the varieties here, and none of these is something that I haven't seen here in Germany. I've seen similar or these exact things here in Germany. So, I mean, you see Minecraft and you see Marvel stuff and, police officers and animals. All of this stuff I've seen here in Germany. So I don't understand why people are saying that they miss costumes. Maybe it's just the idea that the costumes are there, not the actual action of having to buy a costume, because when are you going to buy this stuff really? Maybe a birthday party, a themed birthday party, definitely Halloween, but that's once a year. So I don't know why people missed buying costumes at Walmart. I guess sometimes people just want to wear new stuff, I guess. Maybe you want to wear something new. Moving on, mayo, the mayonnaise. Now here's a controversial one for me, because ever since I've been here, I do not like American mayonnaise at all. There is a huge difference. American mayonnaise and German mayonnaise are not the same. Trust me on this. Now, when I was in the States, the brand that I used to get primarily was, where is it? Oh, there it is. Just the regular Kraft mayo. I did switch it up for a while and started going to the different stuff. Like I've tried this avocado mayo a time or two. Not my favorite, but when you're trying to be just a tad bit healthier, I guess that'll do. That's sufficient. And here's some different kind of mayonnaise made with real roasted garlic. You can see they have it on their fries. And I never had mayonnaise on fries until I got here either. So now I absolutely love it, and I can't have them any other way. These high brand versions of mayo, I just don't even like anymore. Ever since I've come to Germany and had their mayo, there's just a different taste about the German mayonnaise. I don't know what it is. I couldn't point it out, but let me just say that I'm not ashamed to mention that sometimes I'll go overboard with German mayonnaise. I'll even eat the plain. Obviously not scoop after scoop, but I lick the spoon. But mayonnaise made the list of things that Americans miss from Walmart while being here in Germany. So let's move on. Assorted cereals was all over that list. And I typed in, you can see, I typed in cereal into the search, and this is what came up. So I would assume that the site is putting up top. Yeah, here you go. See, budget pick, highly rated, top seller. They will put up top the stuff that sells the most so that they can promote more of it. But they might, brands might be buying some top spots too. I don't know. You never know nowadays. Everything is for sale. So they have Cheerios up at the top. Three different types of Cheerios. Cheerios I haven't even seen since I was a kid. When I was young, this was the only one that was there. I take that back. This and Honey Nut, which is this one right here, were the two primary brands of Cheerios. Now look, you see cinnamon oat and very berry. Too much for me. Here's another one, multigrain. Just a lot going on. So cereals was on the top of the list of things that people wanted too here in Germany. Now the cereals here, I have taken a look a time or two, and they do actually have similar or the same cereals that are found in the States. Sometimes they put a different mascot on it or something like that, or sometimes it'll be just like a toned down version of it where it won't be so involved. It'll just be very simple. But they do have some of these here. So some people did mention specific brands, and Reese's Puffs was right at the top of that. So Reese's Puffs, very popular. Let's keep it going here. Sweet tea. Sweet tea. I like sweet tea, but I can do without it. I also feel like it's an acquired taste. Many Germans that I talk to here have tried it because they can get it off the US installation here. And they say that it's 100% disgusting because most people don't just dump sugar into their tea and call it sweet tea. If anything, some people might put a little honey in it to kind of give it a little bit of sweetening. But sweet tea like this is sweet tea. It's sweet tea. It's more sweet than tea, to be honest. Also, Most people brew their tea fresh. So to dump a bunch of sugar in it would kind of ruin what it is. And I like tea, so I don't like to ruin freshly brewed tea. But when it comes to sweet tea made like this, yeah, I'll have some. I can do without it though. I can do without the sweet tea. But sweet tea was high on the list. People miss it. What else you got, Walmart? Feminine products. I guess this goes without saying. I have seen some of these brands here too, but I guess there's something about the way some of these are made that some females miss. You got to ask them on that. I just had to add it to the list because they added it to the list. Let's move on. I would call this Cheez-Its Part 2. Goldfish are a similar type of snack. It's a cheesy cracker. You know what? I don't know what the difference is. I'll be honest with you. If I've never taken the time to think about it until now, but if I had a Cheez-It in the shape of a goldfish and a goldfish in the shape of a Cheez-It, they would probably taste the same. You can get like white cheddar and sour cream. None of that's on this list, but you can get many flavors. You can get whole grain. There's a lot of goldfish flavors too. So yeah, Cheez-Its and goldfish, the cheese cracker. People want their cheese crackers. Let's move on. Clothes, particularly blue jeans. I guess some people say the blue jeans that they find here don't fit as well. Now, for me, I've had to adjust the measurements because here you're obviously wearing EU sizes. Back in the States, you're going to be using the US measurement sizes. So you have to adjust. Like, I don't know if people are doing that or not, but you have to remember that you have to adjust and kind of do what the size transfer is to get the proper size. You might have to go up a little bit because they might not be a perfect transfer, but it's possible. Let's move on to this next one. You might recognize this because I had this brand earlier in the video, but this is a shells and cheese made with the Velveeta cheese that people said that they missed that you saw earlier. Now, basically, this is just pasta that comes with the cheese that I showed you earlier. This says made with real cheese, but hey, you can look at the box to determine what it is for yourself. I'm not going to be the determining factor for that. But basically, this is just macaroni and cheese, basically. It's shell pasta with that Velveeta, that good melting Velveeta cheese that you saw earlier in the video. So when people mentioned the Velveeta, they also mentioned the Velveeta shells and cheese. Assorted cards. I haven't been able to find a stationary place here in Germany that sells assorted cards like for any occasion. So I understand this one. In places that sell stationery like this, back in the States, Walmart, I guess, there's a section where it's nothing but cards. And I mean for like every occasion. Like somebody didn't get hit by a car, you'll be able to find a card for it. Oh, you didn't get hit today. Congratulations. I'm goofing off a little bit, but there's a card for almost every single occasion. And I can understand that that's what people miss about having this assorted stationery availability. Because, yeah, you never know when you want a card. I'm not a card person, but you never know when you got something to give to somebody. So I can understand that one. Next, Twinkies. Twinkies. Everybody knows Twinkies. Remember Twinkies? Twinkies got discontinued a number of years ago, and somehow Twinkies made their way back. They made their way back. Crazy. But Twinkies, people said they missed their Twinkies, man. There's a cake here. You know what I'm about to say. There's a cake here that's similar to this, but it's never going to be the genuine Hostess Twinkie. Nothing will ever be. There's many of golden cream filled cakes out there in the US and in other places around the world, but they just won't be Twinkies. They're not Twinkies. They're not Twinkies, yo. Scented candles. This is another one of those things where I've actually looked for because I use these and I cannot find the ones that I particularly like. I like the Woodwick candles that have really strong fragrances. And I've bought German candles and they just don't have as strong a fragrance, if any at all. Most of the candles here aren't scented candles. But I'll tell you, I can do without candles. I mean, I don't need them. They wouldn't be something I would like complain or fuss over not having. Like I said, I buy some here in Germany, so I'll just light the shit and keep it going. Sometimes it's just the flicker of the light that I need. It's not even the scent or anything. I love the peace that lit candles bring. That might be just me. Barbecue sauce. If you find a good barbecue sauce here in Germany, you need to stick with it. Most barbecue sauces here will not have what you are used to back in the States, and they will not have that taste that you're used to back in the States. See, some sauces are made in specific states. Like there's a St. Louis brand barbecue sauce where I'm from. There's a KC barbecue sauce. There's a Memphis. There's plenty of different kinds of barbecue sauces. So what Germany in particular usually does is they just make a barbecue sauce randomly. Though it might have some of the ingredients of a generic barbecue sauce, you need to nail the flavor of an authentic regional barbecue sauce, okay? Because if it's something that's supposed to be KC Masterpiece, it needs to taste like KC Masterpiece. And you just won't get that in Germany, which is understandable. They don't care about that stuff. But the truth is the truth. You're probably not gonna find good barbecue sauce here. Now here's one that I found weird. Bologna, or bologna as some people call it. I don't even know what to say about this stuff. I don't know what kind of meat it is, if it is even meat. Now this is Walmart, and that's a German brand. So obviously somebody here knows something. If you know what kind of meat this is, let us know. Put it in the comments and tell us what kind it is. I can see that it said it's made with pork, chicken, and beef, but what parts? What parts of the pig or the chicken or the cow? That's what's got me curious. Bologna, I don't know I don't know what people miss about this. It's not that great. I've had it, I grew up eating cheap stuff. So if you know what this is, let us know down in the comments. Let's move on from this bologna. All right, cake mix. Cake mixes, again, this is one of the things that if I needed to have it, I would completely just make on my own. It's just a box full of the dry ingredients that are needed to make the item. So I don't see the reason to actually go out and buy their box for $3 and $4 when you can just take the ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen and just make your own. Cake mix, it was on the list. People want their cake mix from the Walmart. This goes with the cake mix. Brownie mix. I know brownies can be hit or miss because a lot of people like a more chewy, a thicker, chewier brownie, most people, but some people do like the cakier ones too. So they're kind of hit or miss. I don't know if I've ever seen brownie mix here in Germany, if even I've ever seen cake mix, I don't know. But yeah, people miss their brownie and cake mix, which I personally feel like if you needed this that bad, there's plenty of recipes you can find online if you don't know any, and you can make this stuff. You can make this stuff. This isn't stuff you have to miss. All right, peanut butter. Goes without saying, does it not? We know peanut butter is here. We know it's found here, but this goes back to the Mexican thing. Like peanut butter has to be right, and the barbecue sauce thing. Like peanut butter has to be right. Like I understand it's peanuts and oil and maybe some sugar. You have to get it right. And I guess there's something that people miss about American brand peanut butter. So yeah, here's some more popular brands. Jif, Skippy. I remember all of these growing up. And the more recent ones like Reese's, Peter Pan is another classic. I've actually never seen Reese's, but that's, I guess Reese's is jumping into the peanut butter. And then you have your healthier choices like natural with honey. There's an organic one. Yeah, everybody's going to do everything they can to try and get your eyes so they can get your money. So you'll see 12 different Skippies and 13 different Jifs, and it's all peanut butter, but it's peanut butter that people have grown to have an acquired taste to. So peanut butter was definitely high up on this list, and people really, really, really want their peanut butter almost as much as bacon, strangely enough. All right, I didn't see too many of these, but I can actually attest to this because I have to be careful with this myself. But it's black hair products. So I use a specific product that I only find in certain places, and I stick with that because whenever you're trying to switch to something new, you have to locate it, and if you can't locally, you have to find a way to order it. Here's a good brand, Carol's Daughter. that I know is popular amongst a lot of people of ethnic backgrounds. And here in Germany, this just isn't something you're gonna find. There's an ethnic product scarcity, which you can probably understand. We're in Europe, I mean, so you can't really be mad at that. They try, they really do. It's just not the hugest draw when it comes to beauty and care products. It's just not the big draw, so they wouldn't invest so heavily in it if it's not gonna net any big returns. But if you want to know some places where I have to go for my own daughters, you can hit me up in the comments and I'll give you some information on where I go and how I go about getting specific things. We get it done, we get the job done. So most of this stuff is available to be shipped to Germany. You can order this stuff, order it in bulk maybe, so that you won't be out when you start to run low. So in a way, although Walmart's physical stores failed, Americans still have access to their Walmart from Germany. Am I right?